you. That's weird because I heard the music just fine.
There it goes. Now it's playing on my end.
Now we got them. Tell
Now I
them to
hear it.
refresh their pages. Tell them to refresh their pages. Because mine wasn't playing either, and the second I refreshed the page, I got audio.
Yeah, I can hear audio too, and that's exactly what I did. I refreshed. Yep. Okay, good, Justin. Well, we might want to repeat the question again then, because maybe Justin wants to chime in.
Yeah.
Right?
Now we lost Brian.
Brian, can't hear you. You're on mute.
There we go.
Wow. It's that month off that we took. That's what it is. No, the question was, when does paranormal investigations cross the line? What is too soon to investigate? Chime in. Let us know. Some of the things that we have already brought up. We brought up about teams trying to contact the Warrens, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Teams trying to contact Mark and Debbie Constantine before the police even finish their investigations. Investigating cemeteries with newly... what's a word to say?
Okay. I did a live at a cemetery, and it's funny that you bring this up because I actually got a bunch of negative views because of it. All right. Like I was saying, when you talk to the dead, they tend to use terminologies for themselves, and I don't always think about it because it's what they refer to themselves all the time. And one of the terms since I was a kid, whenever a new soul had crossed, some of the older, wiser ones that were guiding me into speaking to them always called them freshies. Okay. I had made that comment because one was trying to push themselves on me at a cemetery on a live feed. And I went, no, you're a freshie. You're less than a week. And I got called disrespectful. Okay. But it's exactly it. Is if they're under 3 months in the grave, there's that crossover counseling of spirit and change hasn't happened yet. And so they're fresh to the new energy.
Okay. Yep. Southern Paranormal Hunter says, I don't think people should try to contact right after death. I think they think it is disrespectful. I agree 100%. I think that is very disrespectful. Not only to the deceased, but also to the deceased loved ones. I think that is the biggest thing that we have to look at is not only the spiritual side, but the living side also.
I can see that on to a certain extent as well. However, I have dealt with people that the spirit has been gone 10 years and they still think it's disrespectful that I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
It's the personal attachment, the human longing to what used to be, not the transference into what it became. And that one's a hard one to deal with. I don't know. Some people I don't think will ever be comfortable with us talking to the dead.
Oh no. I don't ever see that coming to fruition that everybody's okay with it. It's just the way the religious beliefs are, and and that love attachment.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Jason, the 6 to 7 months. We were discussing this when you couldn't hear it. In necromancy, we have a law that we operate that we do not speak to a spirit unless it comes to us before 3 months. So, yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, and that little when you were telling us about the spirits that you have talked to that were confused because somebody tried to that was very, very interesting, and I could actually see how that could come about. I mean, I would be very, very confused after, I mean, going from this life to another.
Well, it becomes like this. All right, what do they call them? Tethered souls. They don't quite understand that they're dead when they get interfered with. Their brain gets kind of scattered. It almost comes across schizophrenic when I come across one, because their brain is in one place while other parts of their brain are in another, and they can't fathom that they're not alive and they're still interacting as such. They haven't figured it out. They get stuck in the crossing. This is why I always tell people I'm a spirit counselor more than anything. I have more conversations with the spirit to get them in the right frame of mind that they cross themselves. They have to heal in that process.
It brings up a lot of issues with my dad being that he just passed away.
Oh yeah, I mean, and when my father passed away, I saw things that reminded me of him. My mom has. She felt warmth and a very comforting light the very first night, and it kind of pointed to things that were trying to tell her that, you know what, it's okay. I'm in a good place. This is where I should be, and I'm always going to be with you. And that's what my mom has experienced it. I've experienced it. So yeah. But still, I don't feel comfortable enough to do that. And I guess it's just a moral thing with me and a religious thing. You have to give them time to be comfortable with where they're at now.
And again, if they are reaching out, that is one thing. You know, and it's always good to talk to them and remind them this is the difference of the situation. This is where you're at right now, because you're reinforcing their mentality as well. Mm-hmm. John Lennon said that death is no different than living. It is just stepping out of one car door and entering another. Mm-hmm. Okay. There's nothing wrong with them talking to you. Where I was talking about the problem is where, well, I'm not getting any signs. I don't know if he's okay. Why isn't he talking to me? I really want to talk to him. Okay. Or you don't know who the hell they are at all. They're just a name in the newspaper that died.
Yeah.
And you're trying to summon them.
Yeah, and I think that's
a different story.
And I think that's what Brian was trying to get at with his question, you know. So
yeah.
I get it. Like with my dad, he definitely presented himself and reached out to me. It was that night after he had passed away.
Yeah, and those are blessed gifts to help with your healing process.
I loved it. He was reminding me. He was freaking bossing me around like always. Telling me, don't let your mom forget to take out the trash. Just things like that. Like he was just telling me things, and he was standing right next to his golf clubs, his beloved golf clubs in the garage. It was really cool. He went away after about a day and a half. I don't see him there in the garage anymore, and I haven't really felt him after all that. But I have one really cool story I want to tell you guys about that, and then we should move on to a new because I want to see if Justin or Lisa might have something they want to talk about. But so when I was out in the garage, Saturday night after my dad passed, I was alone. After I'd already told everybody that I'd seen him there, and everyone had gone to bed, and I was alone out in the garage smoking a cigarette. And so my grandma passed away about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and my mom couldn't deal with it really. And she had my grandma cremated, but she told my dad to hide the ashes from her because she just didn't want to know where they were.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my dad that night after he had reminded me to remind my mom to take out the trash. I asked him where grandma's ashes were, because I wanted to do something with them. So he told me where they were. He showed me where they were.
Right on.
And I told my mom, well, I know where grandma's ashes are. And her jaw just dropped to the floor. How do you know that? And I said, Dad showed me. And
wow.
Yeah, that was that night. And then the next day, early in the day, like early afternoon, I still saw him standing by his golf clubs. And then it was later on that night when I didn't see him anymore. And he hasn't really talked to me since. So I don't know where he went, but I take it like he's maybe moved on, like in a good way. So I don't really.
Yeah.
Fulfillment. Yep.
But yeah, it's a pretty amazing story, and it pretty much made my mom believer in paranormal. So.
Well, yeah, and that was part of the process as well. He had to carry on that one last word at least, and let you know where the ashes were. I've done that a few times in a house, and it always freaks the client out when I go right to the urn. They tell me where they are, and a couple of them they'll have 3 or 4 urns there, and that's like literally what do you call it, motley or whatever, where you 3-card Monty, so you've got multiple urns, and it's always that right one. I love it when spirits come forward on that. So yeah, take those as blessings, and those are the gifts given to you. Him wanting to pass on that information and make sure that wasn't forgotten.
It was so cool, you guys. It was so cool. So he kept telling me to look. There's this dresser type of thing, cabinet in the garage. And that's where he told me to look. And so I looked in there. And there was nothing in there as far as I could see that resembled an urn. It was all gardening stuff. But there was a white cardboard box, and there was a shoe box. And so I was like, Dad, I can't see nothing. So I closed the door, and I went and I sat back down. And he said, get up and go back and look. So I got back up and I opened the doors again. I looked in there, and he pointed at he told me, I should say pointed, but that's kind of how I felt. Like he was pointing at the white box. So I grabbed the white box, and it was really heavy. And I was like, this is weird. And I opened it, and there was my grandma.
There you go.
So yeah, it was amazing. And yeah, you're right, Jared. It was a blessing. And what actually came out of it, and I think this is really important, is that my grandma should not have been out there.
As the way you told me, she should not be out there next to the weed killer.
Yes, I was like,
Fuck. Oh, shnikes. You live in a haunted house, you're on a radio interview, the boyfriend or the roommate's girlfriend is sitting at the door with it open and the lights on in her face. I just had a banshee in my face. Holy crap.
Okay, well, Jared's going to have to go clean his trousers real quick.
Wow.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. Hello, I'm awake.
Wow.
So yeah, that was my topic. What about you, Lisa?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know where to start.
Like, what's something that's bothering you or something you want to talk about within the paranormal? And Justin, please chime in too if there's something you want to talk about too.
Yeah, Justin. Probably the fact that, well, a couple things. The bullying is one, but also you got these people that want to get into the paranormal just to be on TV.
Oh yeah.
I think that
I'm
irritates me
on
that,
a whole 7 minutes. I'm famous.
Yeah.
um, you know, I've seen one where, oh, I don't want the celebrity kind of life, and then a couple weeks later, I'm gonna be on my TV show. I'm gonna do this and this and that. But yet they're posting pictures of dust and bugs, calling them really sweet orbs. Irritates me.
Yeah.
Oh, orbs. You gotta love
Oh,
them.
hey, this orb has one. You know,
gotta
I
love
know
them.
when I first started out, I'm not gonna lie, someone told me that what I was catching on my actual Samsung camera that I had, those are spirits. And I was at the abandoned train tunnels where the Chinese were pretty much slaves building this train tunnel up above Donner Lake.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember that one up there.
It turns out, after I got all excited, I found out from someone who had been understanding more about the photography and that they weren't orbs, explained it to me, and I was kind of disappointed. You know, and yeah, how everyone thinks an orb is paranormal, but
well, I like I like the statement before that, or the guys that get in to the field just to get girls.
Well, shit,
Yes.
everything's to get girls. Come
Yes.
on. You know, it's our in our path. I mean, it's just how it works.
You know, I can kick myself in the butt. I never made it to a haunted brothel while I was there in Reno.
Those are the girls you want to meet,
well,
man.
maybe we need to go to one next summer. Hey, Mustang Ranch closed. Can't we try to get into that place?
Ooh, yeah, that one's tough too. He's on that list of get upset of being contacted.
Yeah.
Hey, but I knew
Well,
him.
I'm pretty sure the owner of Mustang Ranch didn't he die of a heart attack last year?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He was
Huff.
Yeah, he was an amazing man, an amazing businessman. Worked with him a little bit in the club scene back in 2005. Yeah. So yeah, he was Republican, but he was an amazing mind. He was just he was cool. But yeah, no, the Mustang Ranch was a unique place. I've been out there once as a salesman because I was selling like cleaning supplies and stuff, and they dropped us off in that area. But yeah, that whole area itself is interesting. The land is unique, and it's got its own history going on as well. So
yeah, I think that's a place for me and Susie need to take the drive.
Well,
there you go.
I feel stupid because I didn't even know any of this. I didn't know the guy died. I didn't know it was closed. I didn't hear about none of that. And my boyfriend used to be a salesperson there way back in, like, I don't know, 5 years ago. So
Well,
Well,
and
yeah,
I
Mustang
know.
Ranch is closed, but the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, which is there in Carson City, is still open and doing business.
They
Right.
still got it going on.
Yeah.
And he was actually running for Congress,
Daddy.
Yes.
and right before a political town meeting and everything, he passed away.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before he was supposed to be elected, I think, or he was already elected and then passed.
But this goes into where some of these things are going.
Oh yeah,
About people wanting to be famous. And that's something
Yeah.
Lisa brought up. Getting into this to be famous. I got news for anybody that's getting into the paranormal. There is no money in it. If you're wanting to trade fame for money, you're going to watch your life get kind of turned upside down as well. That's what happens with greed. And when you're dealing with the paranormal and you deal with those mortal moral sins, no matter what religion you speak of, here I am, a pagan priest, talking about some Christian ideals right here. You start wondering why some of these top paid guys in the field start having more and more dark encounters. Okay. What you trade and what you decide to you to be in public eye that is not you is trading your mortality. It is trading your morals. It is trading your soul. It's how it works. So if you go into this and you get famous, enjoy it, but don't seek it. That's the catch. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay if you get noticed. It's okay if that's, that's all right. But if you're going into it for that's the own sole purpose, you're going to burn bright and you're going to burn short.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but look at the problems that Zach has had.
Absolutely.
And you're 100% right. I mean, once you start that greed, you're starting to trade your soul.
That's why us priests, we never charge for our services. We do this to help people. It is not to be famous. It is not to make money. A few of us have been on TV. Several of us never have and probably never will. But they don't make a dime for it. Bishop James Long, that man's been on network television and never got paid. He didn't charge. A lot of props and respect to that man, and he puts up with a lot of crap in the community. Yeah. He never charges. And he raises money for women and families in homeless and low income situations. The stuff that people are bitching about with him about why is he selling haunted items? Why is he doing this? All that money goes to help humanity. And he doesn't charge.
Wow.
So it goes into that bullying that's happening in the paranormal. Why are people bullying? Why are they stepping up? Is it their own reflections of their own mirrors, those dark reflections that pop up in my cards from time to time? Where we look at those masks that we wear. Are we so upset with ourselves and where we want to be, and we're so set into destination addiction that we're ripping apart anybody else that hits that spot where we want to be?
Wow. You hit it right on the head. That is exactly it. You have to write that down. You have to write that down.
What did I say?
It'll go. He's like, what did I say? Jared, I wanted it to go down in history.
That is very, very profound. And you're right. It's people that have that mask, that want to be where we're at.
Well, I've always
And
told you, Bri and Lisa. I mean, I've been bullied a lot, and I know so has
okay,
Lisa, but
I will stop bullying you.
but yeah, I've always thought it's because they want what I have. Like,
Yeah,
they do. They want what I have because they want it easy. And I don't do it easy, like the work that we put into the show or the work that we put into the mystery gang, all the stuff. It doesn't come easy. But these kind of people want it easy. And I feel like they want what we have, they want it. Like they want to be lazy about it. So
well, see, and that all stems back to as Jarrett was sitting there saying, the greed. It's one of the deadly sins. Envy,
and it's not
jealousy.
necessarily the material either. It's not necessarily the show or the team or the fame or anything else. Okay, Susie. What it is that peace of mind and that drive and
yes,
manifestation.
yes, that's why they're saying
That's
they're
the core.
lazy. They don't
That's the
have,
core.
yeah. I I finally started to realize that this last year because for so long I was like, why is this happening to me and my friends? And it just finally hit me one day. I'm like, it's they want the drive that I have, the drive that Lisa has, the drive that Brian has. Like they want that and they don't have it. So but it's just a matter of like integrity, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
And yeah, it's a
I,
matter of
I
integrity.
I think the big one on that is people have a twisted idea of they've mixed two words together, and that's where the confusion is. See, there's a difference between reputation and character, and that's where integrity comes in handy. See, reputation is where everybody is all worried about. This is these fake personas and, people having their own Facebook way of life and then what they really do in real life. This is that reputation. This is the bullying that's coming on where we're coming across where they have these groups that will all of a sudden jump onto somebody because it's reputation. Now, character, that's a different story.
Yes.
Character is who you are without anybody giving you recognition and no one observing you. Character is who you are regardless of what anybody else thinks or says.
Yeah.
That's where the core of integrity is. And because people have gotten those two words mixed up, that's where integrity is getting thrown out. And this is where words like loyalty and camaraderie are being used against them. And now they're being joined onto these sagas of bullying other people because they're loyal to somebody, but they don't understand what that means.
And a lot of people don't actually look at the true definition of integrity, camaraderie, honor. It's they have their own misconception about it, and it's not there. And yeah, I try to stick up for the little people, the underdogs, the ones that are getting bullied. And I myself, all through high school and everything, I was actually bullied.
Yeah, me too.
And it's made me a stronger person to realize, you know what? I still have me. My character, my integrity is still intact.
Well, here's the thing that's been kicking up and why people are getting off on this dog bad mouthing and bashing para unity. Okay, we are so into this point right now in which we are standing up against bullies that the bullies have found this out, and when the bully gets called out, they're saying they're getting bullied.
Yep. Oh, that happened to Lisa and I. Remember that?
Okay.
Oh yeah,
And
that's what happened.
so they will use our
just
PTSD and our trauma of being a survivor of bullying to and immediately sympathize with them because they're being bullied. That's the bully understanding how to victimize victims again. And that's where the big problem with bullying is going on.
What was that, Lisa?
I was just going to say that Justin, just jumping back to people who want to get in the eye of the public and be famous. Justin mentioned that he doesn't charge. God wouldn't charge to help people, so neither do they. And he also says people only bully others that put in the hard work because they're jealous. And I definitely have to agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if you can discredit someone that's put in the hard work and everything to make yourself look good, I mean, that's easy. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people are doing, just taking that easy path, the path of least resistance.
Well, and these teams that are charging, they're using the justification of, well, it costs. Yeah, it's going to cost. If you can't do it, don't do it.
Yeah,
you can go in there with absolutely no equipment and still help people and not charge.
Yes.
Now, if a client wants to do a free will donation, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But never charge a client.
No.
Once you start charging, you start opening yourself up to all kinds of darkness that will come into your life. And I don't care who you are, it will happen. It's not a win, or it's not an if, it is literally a win. And I mean, it even goes to as bad as eventually you will get a client that is dissatisfied, and now you get nailed as a con artist, and all that money you charged is now lumped into tens of thousands of dollars, and you're nailed on federal. They don't think this through. Never charge to help a client. You know, it's morally right not to charge, but two, it also protects you from financial liabilities later on down the road. You cannot quantify the experience that you are providing to put to a monetary value. It is not admissible in court as quantified practice.
Well, not only that, it also it takes it from one hand and changes it into a business.
Right.
And we all know the government wants their fingers in any business. So, so if you're taking money and charging for a service, you now have a business. You have to pay taxes. You have to have a business license.
Well, and here's the deal. Once you hit that point of a service, you have to provide proof that the service is rendered.
Yeah.
We're in the paranormal field.
Yeah.
No matter what amount of evidence you have, it is still underneath. I mean, I don't care how much of a believer I am dealing with what I deal with. I still will have evidence that nobody will ever believe. Now, money is involved, and it becomes.
Now it has to become concrete. Yeah.
You know, so they don't think through.
Yeah, you just can't say, I cannot confirm or deny that I removed this spirit.
Bingo. All I can do is, I mean, it's literally Jack Sparrow and the Witch. You know, here's a jar of dirt. Will it work, or does it help? We'll give it back. No, then it works. You know, it is literally that aspect. I can quantify what I do in a house so much to where I can show the experience and reviews of people that said their lives are changed and it's better. But I cannot on paper prove I did anything.
Yeah.
You know,
and I have to agree with that statement in chat. I tell people to stay away from teams that charge. Yeah, most
Absolutely.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, and like Susie and I and the mystery gang team, and she'll quantify this. We worked a full day's job on a Friday, and we drove out to Battle Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever been to Nevada, you know that Battle Mountain is not an easy drive at night.
No,
We got
it's
there.
not.
We got there. We did the investigation,
It was like a 4-hour drive too, by the way.
and we drove back the same night.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for me asking Susie silly questions to keep her awake, who knows? You might be asking for us, getting EVPs from us. But yeah, it was a really, really rough investigation. And we did this all on our own.
Yeah.
No donations, didn't ask any money or anything. And we went out and we helped this family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big one. I mean, seriously, when you're doing all these radio interviews and you ask why somebody did this, you're going to hear a lot of people say, I started out to help people. I listen to what they say, and my response is, are you still?
I actually started out because I wanted to find answers.
Yeah, that's how I started out too.
And now it is to help people and still to find the answers along the way. But that's all hindsight. It's to help people. And I go out and do investigations at public areas just to hone my skills and keep my skills relevant.
The really beautiful thing about the public locations is they have hundreds of people through there every month. All right. There's a lot of these location owners are keeping diaries now. Okay. They're keeping files of investigators' experiences. I like going to these public locations completely blind. I do not research anything. I do not look them up. I try to stay as much as possible in the not know. And it's wonderful in that honing skills, like you said, because you get to meet these location owners and you start telling them about your personal experiences, never been there before, and they match up 35 different files. You know, back going, yes. You know, it's literally that Michelle LeBaron moment where you're dancing going, yeah, I got it. No, so I get where you're at on that. And I love it. Now here's a thing that I'm getting at that I'm running into as well. And this is not dogging please do not misunderstand this. I'm not dogging the community. I'm not dogging the whole paranormal thing. Okay. But when you have hundreds of people that are going through a public location, every person has their own baggage. A lot of these people have been to other locations and maybe carrying spirits from that other location with them. How many of these locations are changing over the years, and the hauntings are changing? They're getting spirits that have never been there before, and these are people that are documenting their investigations. They're having locations that are starting to turn dark and negative. They're starting to get violent attacks that have never had it in 10 years. You know, how much of what we are doing, because this environment is so popular, that we're oversaturating and changing the experience.
That's actually a very good point, a very good topic to talk about. Because just recently, I mean, if you look at all of the shows on television, and I know that a lot of them make it overly dramatic and everything to draw in the ratings and stuff, but other teams also have reported things going dark, like you said. And
now, we go into the idea of manifestation, Brian. Okay, be careful of what you go looking for. You just might find it. We go into PK energy, which is poltergeist activity caused by a living spirit. How many of us are sensitives that are wanting that experience that we are now manipulating the environment around us because we are willing it into manifestation? There are spirits at certain locations that do not exist in history, but there is enough years of provable evidence saying they exist. But we know they started in one person's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. And I think it's over a giant collective. I mean, look how nasty the world has gotten.
Oh yeah.
And I think that a lot is feeding off of that too. No. And I mean, this might sound a little bit like Ghostbusters and everything, but you put out a lot of negative. It has to go somewhere. You cannot destroy energy.
Well, that's all part of quantum physics and quantum mechanics. If you guys get into the team Ghost Crier, along with David Glidden and some of these guys, they're all branching into what I've talked about in the quantum field of paranormal. You know, when we look at the basic elements of quantum physics, as we observe molecules and stuff in their pattern, when we were looking things on a quantum level, the fact that we just were observing it changed how they reacted.
Yeah, that's like Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah.
Is it alive or is it dead? I mean, but yeah, that's the way I'm seeing things now. Is all this negative? It's feeding that and manifesting that. And I mean, I'm sure people don't help by trying to summons these things and stuff, and not knowing what they're doing and leaving portals open and stuff.
Yeah, that is a definite issue when it comes down to it. And we get a lot of that when, I mean, there's been in the last 3 years, there's been a few people doing some certain things on investigations that I haven't always agreed with. I was stepping forward, saying that this is where this might lead. And it was literally, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know, when it goes south and it finally hits a point where they're crawling on their knees saying, fix this, I'm sorry I was wrong. How much of a stubborn do you have to be with enough warnings? Unfortunately, we won't believe until we actually physically go through it. So I get that. It just sucks to watch somebody go through that much pain and that dark path in order to finally realize what people are trying to warn them about.
Well,
and it goes in that hand in hand. You got to have the proof. So you're a guinea pig to a certain degree.
Right, and you can't change a person's mind until they hit rock bottom. and it's a shame that they have to experience that for themselves. And yeah, it's I always go under the thing is, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
Now, Grandpa is, I'm an old hillbilly, so we don't know anything, and we try it anyway. But,
hey, Bubba, watch this. I'm gonna raise a demon.
Hold my beer. I'm at IKEA. Oh shit. But yeah, and on the lighter note, there is so much positive going on in the community right now. The love that I see that is happening, and the unity that is happening, and the people that are bonding together, the money that's actually being raised and delivered. We can look at the negatives of life all we want.
Oh yeah,
we want words out where they're good as well. We manifest what we manifest, and we're so focused on the horrible stuff. We can't be an ostrich. We can't put our head in the sand and say it's not happening and I don't want it. No darkness allowed. It doesn't work that way. But we also have
I'm sorry
as well. All right.
I saw the comment in chat.
I'm out smoking a cigarette, so I don't see the chat right now.
It's that's me, Jared. Hold my beer. Watch this.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of people ask me how I do stuff, and I am literally dust the Cheeto dust off my hands and let's do this. It's literally, I don't know if I can do it. Let's try it. So I understand that mentality of we don't know, let's find out.
Right, but you do it in a positive light. You don't do it in a negative aspect.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you have to have the positive and the negative. That's a given.
Yeah, it's the scales of life. It's all balanced.
Right. And no matter how hard we try to get like this pair unity and everybody to work together and everything, you're still going to have that negative, those teams that want the fame, that hold the places to themselves, that downgrade other teams and stuff. And it's that balance.
The good news is the ones that do that don't last long. They eventually run out of people to use. And, we can hold out the best we can, and there are always going to be bad ones out there. But when we stop supporting bad people, when we stop giving them money, they no longer have a reason to do it. And that's the big one on it. A lot of people, they compromise their morals, compromise what they stand for, all because of their own identity, their own popularity, or their own need to be out there. There's, people that are running events that they go to these, and people are there saying, well, I really don't like them, but I need the exposure. Well, if they'll stop hurting people if they're not making money anymore.
Right.
And are you compromising your character by being in this circle? You really have to check your dreams based off your morality and your character. What are you willing to compromise to become famous?
Yeah,
no. When Susie and I started this with the radio program, that was one thing that we said. We're not in this for the fame.
Yeah.
We are there to just give what we do our research on and put that out there to the people, and they can make up their own decision on whether yes or no. And I'm sitting. It's yeah. I don't want to be famous because with fame comes a lot more problems.
It's not easy. Like the Mystery Gang has gotten in the public eye a lot lately, and within the past year, I would say, and it's not easy. It's not something that I would have like chosen. Yeah, I want to be famous. No, because it's once you're out there in the public eye, that's when you start to have to deal with so much drama and so much bullying and everything.
Yeah,
And,
you become a target for the
mhm.
teams that we are trying to get out of the field.
And the catch with that as well, as much as we try to get them out of the field, we got to make sure that in the process of us slaying monsters, that we don't become the monster.
That we don't become the monster ourselves.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. That's always on my mind with all of the drama that we've had to endure the last year or two. Yeah, there's that fine line that you just cannot, you have to be very conscious of, and you cannot cross it. And you just have to be so careful. And I want to go back to what you were saying, Jarrett, and also Paul's comment. I enjoy what I do, and I love those that I work with in the field. And Jarrett, you were saying there's a lot of positive too, and that's so true. Like honestly, um, in this field specifically, I have met so many amazing people who I love so much. And since my dad has passed away, these certain people have taken time out of their day, like Paul to send me funny videos, Justin to wish me prayers. Lisa constantly talks to me throughout the day. I mean, everybody just has been here for me. And it's like that all the time with these people. Like Michelle LeBaron is one of them, and Lisa Ludwig, and just all of these people who I've been meeting since I have actually been in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't put myself out there like, you know, I want to be famous. I'm just trying to meet people and have a good time, honestly.
Exactly.
You know, these people mean so much to me that I really literally consider them family. And that includes you, Jarrett, and of course you, Brian. And
you better consider me family.
You're my you're my brother, and Jarrett, you're my brother. Paul, you're my brother. You know, Lisa's my sister, man. I don't even know what I would do without Lisa.
And I think that's what's really cool about kind of our team and all the teams and the people that we have met. We all have the same ideology. We have the same thoughts, the same goal, the focus. And I've yet to meet someone in the paranormal field that I particularly don't. Well, I can't say that now. I try to associate myself with the people that I look up to, I admire. And it's not that I want to be like them. It's I like what they do.
Yep. We look at the circle around us, and if our circle is making us feel bad about ourselves, you know, it's one thing if we're an asshole and we deserve it and they're giving us constructive criticism, you better feel bad about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
But if a person is just sabotaging you every time that you're trying to succeed, tearing you down, telling you how you're not, you need to change your circle. It's amazing when you clean out the negative energies of your lives and the people that are literally snuffing out your spirit. And sometimes it can be the ones we love the most that are the closest to us. But if they're toxic to you and they're preventing you from going forward, then their position in your life should be lessened dramatically. You know? It's
like psychic vampires, the ones that suck the energy out of you.
Oh yeah, emotional stress, physical stress. The body, where the mind goes, the body follows. If your life is in a position in which you are completely under stress and depression due to situation, your body will show in illness. It's been proven. And as soon as people get that stuff out of their lives and they better their lives, all of a sudden their health improves. The body responds to where our mind and our emotional status is at. Now, put this into the paranormal field as well. This puts you in a condition in which you are open to spiritual attachments when you are damaged like that. When you have these holes and these needs and stuff that are there, these become baggages of tools that the darker entities will use against you. So it's important that you get through this healing in order for you to heal others. You know?
Well, guys, we missed our break, by the way. I was going to remind you guys, but then I was like, oh, whatever. We're having a good talk, so I interrupted.
Right on.
There's another a little situation that I would like to bring up. I actually saw this from Riverside. They brought it up once, and Michelle brought it up another time. Apparently, you have people now, or two individuals, going around to paranormal events and stealing artifacts from the locations.
Yep, they just had one out there in Kansas.
I heard about that.
They just released the video stills and the pictures of the husband and wife team that did that.
Yes.
So, and here's the deal, guys. All right. If you are truly into the paranormal field, you don't take items from a haunted location.
Heck no.
One, it's disrespectful to the owner because it shouldn't be stealing at all. But
yeah, truly.
You also, all right, we talk about haunted artifacts that end up in people's homes just from an antique store. Now you're actually taking a haunted item from a haunted place.
Right, but that's a little different than just going into a location and sneaking it out in your jacket. I mean, going to an antique store and you buy a armoire that is dated in the 1800s that's haunted. Right. That's something completely different.
It's on the same aspect, and we have that risk, and we run it.
Right.
Here you are committing a dark act of theft, stealing a haunted item from a haunted location.
Right.
What type of beacon flare are you shooting up in the spirit world? Not only are you a thief, but now, as a supposed paranormal investigator, you're stealing an item from a location that you're going there to respect the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no respect there. It is a dark act. It is out of malicious intent. It is now a dark flare set up in there. You just lit the black candle and it's a virgin sacrifice.
Yep.
You know?
So Paul Welch says, don't stick your stickers on historic locations either. And then Justin says, I'm on my Bluetooth. Yeah. It's easier to sit on the toilet that way.
Exercise those demons.
Awesome. TMI, Justin. TMI.
I hope you did not eat Taco Bell.
Maybe we should have taken our break.
But,
but no. I mean, I understand where you're coming from and everything. Release a Kraken. But yeah, I mean, I actually bought antiques when I was over in England and everything. They weren't haunted, but I mean, I did pay for them. Yeah. And I still have them today. Yeah. So I mean, but I mean, as far as going in and taking, yeah, there's two different. In my book, there's two different levels. That taking without permission is wrong.
This was a picture frame with a family photo in it. You talking about
right.
family ghosts? Oh
yeah. And
worried about something following you home, you just poke something that they're going, you bring me back my dragon egg. You know, it's just,
don't poke the bear.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, even the owner did ask. She said, "You can keep the picture frame. I just want the photo back."
Exactly.
And I do hope that they push this to the fullest limit and persecute.
Absolutely.
Prosecute? I was going to say persecute.
Persecute and prosecute.
They could be persecuted.
Yeah, they're already being persecuted. Their faces are all over Facebook, so they were dumb. I mean, beyond dumb. Just stupid. Beyond
yeah,
stupid.
That type of thing brings bad light to the paranormal community. That and the same thing with college students going out and having drunk parties in cemeteries and trashing headstones. Yeah.
Prime example, Bachelor's Grove, Illinois. Okay. This is a long history of this cemetery having that exact problem. In fact, there are flyers in history that shows beer bash at Bachelor's Grove, $5 a cup, and, you fill it yourself. When you go through the Bachelor's Grove and you take what used to be the old highway, which is now the trail, you can literally see the gouges in what's left of the asphalt of where people have drug off headstones still to this day. It is long documented of using, it got to a point where it was so bad that the families came in and lifted the headstones themselves and supposedly tossed them into that pond right there next to them, just so people wouldn't know their family was buried there, or their family would be left alone. There was a lot of destruction that was wanton, and there was a lot of destruction that was willful, just to try and preserve what was still in the ground. And so, yeah, that type of stuff that's going on here at these graveyards and stuff is just, it's horrible. They're just, those of us that speak on the spirit world, man, they are no different than what we are right now. They are just in a different molecular context, and they are just as active and just as intelligent and just as empathetic and caring and just as cruel as we are living.
Oh yeah.
It's just
So what next topic?
Well, I'm currently trying to put links in the chat. Really quick. Lisa, is there anything you wanted to talk about? Or anybody else in the chat?
So,
well,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, let's see, how do I start this? Of course, it's going back to paranormal teams and charging and whatnot. So, in my opinion, I know of a team that does pay to boost their own page to get followers. I'm kind of against that. What are your guys' opinions on that?
It's his money. He wants to spend it. Advertise all you want. You know, that's your money. You know, it's.
Well,
I do it because they freaking charge way too much money for boosting my page. It's just ridiculous.
I
But
kind
they're
of think.
boosting their page because they want more followers so they can become famous.
See, that's where I was fixing to go with this. It depends on the overall reason why they do it.
Right, like we go back to that original thing about a moral code of conduct, right?
Yeah. Now we look at this from one point of view. You know, the more viewers you have, the more followers you have, the more likely you're going to reach more people to help. So there's that catch-22. But if you're doing it just to say, "Hey, look at me, I've got 10,000 followers now," that's your ego. You know, you got to watch out for ego trips and ego traps. You know, if you get famous and you're doing this and get down that road, by all means, enjoy it. But if you're doing it and then going after everybody and saying, "Look at me, I'm more famous than you are,"
well, eventually, I know that a lot of the social media networks, YouTube, Twitch, you get a certain amount of followers, then you start getting paid.
Revenue. Yeah.
Right, revenue. And if a team goes out and starts buying basically followers to start getting that, I think they're a complete sellout. It's an easy way to get it. It's like I said.
But here's the deal, okay? Like with Paranormal Endeavors, we sold our DVDs for many years. You know, $25 a chapter. You know, it's the same basic concept of having YouTube viewers. All right. We're hoping eventually with us going on YouTube and having our things for free that we get those viewers, that we can have that revenue. We are a nonprofit, so all that revenue goes into buying equipment, putting gas in the car that is currently coming out of our pocket because we don't charge.
Okay.
So there is that reason why they're doing stuff like that. Okay, and I can see it. It's different if they are putting it out there and then throwing it in people's faces. You understand? It's
it's like showing off.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to celebrate your successes. It's great to be proud of what you're at. It's great to see what you build. Don't mistake that. But when that becomes who you are, it becomes a problem.
Yeah, the ego.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I'll have to change my stance on that. I do agree to a certain extent. Yes, I do.
Yeah, where they're coming from, especially. I mean, you know, I work about poverty, and I have very limited funds that I work with.
Oh
so
yeah,
there's
well,
a certain amount of revenue I've got to bring in as well in order to help people, and I do a lot of different avenues to try to do that. Am I successful at it? That's not really. That's perception. I don't think so. Some other people might, but we have to find a way to bring in that revenue that isn't give me a handout, you know, to where we feel like we're earning it, where we've had a little bit of something and that we can have some pride to it.
Right.
You know?
Okay. I got you. Okay. I guess that was my pride stating what I felt and everything until I actually looked at the other side. So yeah, you are correct. I have to admit, yes.
Yeah, I've been down that road and I was at the same way. If you talked to me 2 years ago, I was a completely different stance on it myself. I was looking back going, yeah, what the hell are you doing? You know,
Right, right.
I've gone down this, especially in this last year, in which I'm having cases I have to turn down because I don't have gas to get there. I can't do it.
Right, right.
It's become this
See,
reality
and
of I've got to look at money at some point.
right, and I kind of like and this is gonna. I'm taking a giant detour here, and going back to that para-unity thing. I think that rather than a para-unity, it's more of a paranormal networking. Is okay. Now let's say I get an investigation that is 7 hours away from me, and I know I won't be able to make that. It's now that I've got a network that I can look at going, okay, they're here. Let me call up this team and see if they can take this for me. Yep. Or not, or if I'm going to pass this case to them and see if they can take it. And
that's how Paranormal Endeavors gets cases. We pass things off to people in other teams and other states. But it still comes back to where that team goes, I wish you were here. It was still above what we could do.
Right, right. You know? I understand that 100%. And there was cases that I got called on that were way, way, way up over my head. And I had nobody to turn to. And now with having this radio show and everything and meeting all these great teams out there and great people, now I can go, hey, can you give me advice on this?
Exactly.
And if you can't, maybe you know someone that can. And all that does is it just keeps opening up that network. And once that network gets opened up and everything, friendships are built. And now you go to take a vacation, go to Denver or Davenport, Iowa.
Oh.
I'm saying, okay, who's in Davenport? Oh, I know somebody in Iowa. Yeah. I'll meet up with them and have coffee and have a great time. Yeah. So it's little things like that I like about doing this and talking to all these people.
And the last 3 years that I've been open in the paranormal endeavors, 2 years has been building contacts, and then the last year or so, Mom and I have been traveling and doing just that. As we go to these different places, we meet up with people that I've helped on their own personal cases or their team's cases, or we've been friends on Facebook, and then all of a sudden we get together and, stay at their house or get together for coffee or dinner as we're going through. And it's just been this amazing connection, and
yeah. And I can vouch for that. A good friend, well, they're good friends now. I've been following this team for a couple of years on Facebook, Greater Texas Paranormal Society. Oh, yeah. out of St. Marcus. And I get a message on my phone, everything, and it's Deb or Deborah from this team. And she goes, oh, we're coming down and we're going to be in Port Aransas. We'd like to see about getting together and having lunch or dinner and everything. And so we were all going to plan up and everything. Well, the first couple times that we made plans, they didn't come through. And finally, I got to meet them for lunch. Great couple. I met Deb and Harry. and awesome couple. And I made such a good friendship and everything that we're planning to sometime get together and do Yorktown Hospital, which is in Yorktown, Texas. And they said if I ever get up to St. Marcus, that if they've got something scheduled, that I'm more than welcome to come along, or just come up and have lunch with them. And it's just great meeting folks like that, and everyone that I've met. Southern Paranormal Hunters, great group of people. I am still wanting to get out there and either have a beer with them or go on an investigation with them, just to sit down and talk with them. That's I think the biggest thing.
Well, and one of the other ones that is done, as you know, there's some people that will put down doing events. Okay. And I don't mean necessarily at a location, but literally a psychic or paranormal expo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have a booth at one of those, or just being there for 3 days, walking around the entire time you're there, sitting down and chit chatting with these teams from all over the place. These expos are a phenomenal gathering place to finally meet people that you know from across the United States. They have been phenomenal experiences for me for the last couple of years. You get to meet people on that personal level, and it's not always really busy. So you've got those times where you can just sit down, bounce things off of each other's heads. You've got the after parties where we're getting together and get to see people on a human level. Not personality, not their spouting off when they've got a bad day and you're judging them because of who they are that way. Literally seeing how they interact on a human level. And you sit back and get a whole new prospect on people. As much as I love social media and I love the being able to connect, there's still that disconnection of feeling their energy and spirit when you meet them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, there's members on the Mystery Gang that I haven't even met yet. I know them via Skype, via Facebook. But yeah, and yeah.
And I love that whole aspect where we have, like right now, where the viewers aren't seeing what we're seeing, but we're seeing everybody's faces except me. I'm sitting in the dark on my porch.
Yeah, you are sitting in the dark.
It's
See, that's one reason why I'd like to go video one of these shows.
Even on my tarot reading aspect, I never was much for doing tarot over the telephone. I could do it, but there was something missing. Now with Facebook Messenger, video messenger on our phones, Skype, all these different places where I can see a client face to face and do a reading. It is literally like they are sitting right in front of me. It's such a unique experience from a sensitive's point of view, and doing a reading, being able to actually see the person as well as hear them. I do them on my radio show where I don't even have vocal with them. All it is honing into their account, basically. And I've noticed that sometimes if there's 3, 4, 5 people in a house on one phone and that one person there, I'm like, can you guys sign on to your own accounts, please? Because I'm getting their energies mixed up and muddled. It's weird how energy is transference over modern technology.
Oh my God, I love it. I just love it. I love that. I'm so grateful for it, honestly. Well, you guys, we've only got like 10 minutes left. And we have a lot of announcements and things that I know, like, I want to talk about, and Lisa wants to announce some things.
Yep.
And I know Brian, well, you already kind of talked about, but
yeah, I've already talked and gave my shout out to Greater Texas Paranormal.
But yeah, so is there anything anybody else wants to talk about really quick before
just check out Paranormal Endeavors on YouTube. It's Klein Studios. And October 4th, we'll start uploading all of those episodes starting from the very first episode. The Diviner movie is already fully uploaded and is there for you to watch for free. That's the independent film that we shot. Check out my tarot page at Jared Osborne Tarot. And every Thursday night, I have my show. You know?
Jared, I did go ahead and put the links again in the chat, so everybody should be able to grab those. So, but yeah, definitely check out Jared's tarot readings on Thursdays. I've had, I think, 2 readings, and even though it's only 1 card, it's still really helpful. You're amazing, Jared.
Thank you. It's a little shocking to me about how much information can come out of just 1 card.
Oh yeah, I've seen that on your show. I always get there too late and everything, and you got like a list of 60 people already.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, you were like amazingly accurate. It's really funny because my readings I'll go like by super fast, but you do some readings that are a little bit longer, so they can vary from like 5 minutes to 1 minute. Like depends.
It all depends on what the spirit has to say.
Yeah. So definitely check out Jared. And I always try to share every single time I see you going live. I always try to share all over everywhere.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it totally.
So yeah, like I said, I put all of the links, pretty much all of your links, in the chat. So, well, let's get to our announcements. I'm sorry, guys, I've got to get going. We could go over, but I've had a rough week, and
no, yeah.
I need to go. I need to eat. Haven't eaten in like 3 days, and I have to work in the morning. So, but I want to let you guys know that on 10/11, which will be our next show, we do have Jason Nelms as our guest. He's the founder and lead. Yeah, yay! He's the founder and lead of Sinister Sightings, and he's actually they're our sister team. So that will be our next guest. Again, that's October 11th. I do want to announce our trivia winner tonight when Lisa went live for me. He won. He's now honorary. I can't even talk, guys. Honorary member of Haunting the Afterlife group page, and his name is Zach Moore. He will be able to post for the next 2 weeks whenever he wants on our group page. So as long as it's paranormal related. As far as team announcements go, I do want to announce that Paul Welch did a filming of the Mystery Gang. We are the first episode of his series called Spirit Warriors. Mm-hmm. And that is going to be released soon, I think, Paul, right? I'm not really sure exactly what the date, but it's going to be coming up soon, and we will make sure and promote that like everywhere. So another thing I wanted to announce, the Mystery Gang, and I'm really excited about this, and I've been considering this for many years, and we're finally going to make it happen. But the Virginia City Paracon in May, the mystery gang is going to be participating in that. We're going to have ghost honey, which is raw local honey, and it's going to be ghost honey. That's what we're calling it. And that's going to be infused with ghost peppers. And then we're also going to have boobies honey, which is regular honey. So it's not so spicy. And then my daughter, boobies honey, which was Michelle LeBaron's idea. Thank you, Michelle LeBaron. I know you're busy right now at the Vulture City Paracon. But anyways, so what was that, Lisa?
I said the sweet possibilities.
Yep.
Sorry.
Good thing it's after 9 o'clock here.
So we will be also my oldest daughter, Lorena, who you need to check her out. I don't have her link on me right now, but she's on Etsy, and it's called Wraps by Shailene, and she is so talented at wrapping crystals, and she might start doing other things, other types of jewelry, but she will also be at the Paracon, sharing a table with the honey. So that's really exciting. I know that's not all the way till May, but I just thought I would let you guys know ahead of time that that's what the Mystery Gang is planning. We're finally going to be at the Paracon. Woo-hoo!
Well, I would definitely like to get a jar of the ghost honey. I can make a really good barbecue sauce out of that.
Yeah, and for people who are worried that it's too spicy, I've actually done a lot of research on infusing honey with ghost peppers, and the honey actually balances out the spiciness. So it makes a really nice, like marinade if you're into like habaneros kind of tasting stuff. So it makes.
I got enough ghosts in my life. I want some more boobies.
Okay, you'll have to come to the Paracon. You have to come to the Paracon then, Jared, because you were supposed to come to Reno and you did not do that. So you'll have to come to Paracon.
You've seen how busy I've been.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Bouncing all over the place, trying to fit everything in. But yeah, we had a few things that we had to back out of. I don't think we're going to make it to Salem this year because we've been doing other things as well. So, yeah.
But you have to like come and get some boobies honey, and if you can't, I'll send you some.
Woo-hoo.
So again, the Paracon guys, I'm really excited about this because we've always shied away from doing the Paracon, but now that I have so much support from people like Paul Welch and Michelle LeBaron and you, Jarrett, and everybody, like I feel more confident about getting into the Paracon. And I've already talked to Doug, who puts on the Paracon, and he's really excited about boobies and ghost honey. So. And then Paul, I see Paul says, Susie, I need some stuff from Jen, longer audio clips of the EVP so I can add those to the film. Oh gosh. Okay, Paul, we'll talk about that for the documentary. He's referring to the documentary. We'll talk about that. So that's that about that. Lisa, Brian, any other Mr. Gang team announcements?
No, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Frankie Anderson of Skull Trash Society for not just sharing our pages and watching our lives, but supporting us and getting to join our pages and follow us. And it's greatly appreciated. If you guys want, you can check out Soul Trash Society too. It's just a community that's gotten together with everybody of every race, color, gender. There's no discrimination whatsoever. There to support each other, but we're also there to help the community, such as children with cancer, single mothers that are in need of help or abused, the elderly, homeless, even animals. I know that she has set up a few fundraisers and some people have donated to it, but we're all about helping whoever, whenever. So,
well, I went ahead and I put the link again in chat, and if you guys take a look, you'll see Lisa's beautiful face there, the cover page.
I was the cover model for September.
Yay!
Woo!
So that's awesome. Check them out. Other than that, you guys make sure and become a member on our new page. Well, it's not so new anymore. It's about a month old. Our Mystery Gang group page. And also, of course, our Haunting the Afterlife radio group page, so you can stay updated on the show. And also make sure and check out all of Jarrett's stuff. And I also wanted to announce, because we are such good friends with Michelle LeBaron and Christina George, I know that they're at the Vulture City Paracon right now to celebrate National Ghost Hunting Day. And they're going to be going live a lot between now and the next few days. And I know that Michelle LeBaron's going to be presenting, and she's going to be going live. So keep an eye out for all those lives. And, I guess this was kind of our way of celebrating National Ghost Hunting Day. I don't know how you guys feel about celebrating National Ghost Hunting Day. We've been invited to participate, but we've never done it. But I guess we're just doing it in our own little way, not actively going out there and doing it. Yeah, Paul, I know you said the other day you don't participate. It's hard because you have to go to these certain locations and you have to investigate with a lot of other people at these certain locations. I know, Lisa, Brian, we were invited, not this last summer, but the summer before, to participate at the Goldfield Hotel, and we turned that down because we found out there were going to be like 5 or 6 other teens participating. And then also you have to submit your evidence, I guess. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's definitely been too many people with the area of the Goldfield. They only have the first 2 levels open, and with 5 or 6, it wasn't enough room.
What about you, Jarrett? Like, how do you feel about the National Ghost Hunting Day?
I do mostly residential, so it's, if I have a case, cool. I don't do a lot about going to locations. If you see me out at a location, it's because I was invited. Like I said, I run about poverty, so I can't afford tickets. I barely can afford getting out and about. If you see me at a place, it's because I'm invited and I'm a guest. So, if it's I don't know a lot about the whole organization of what it entails. If it's raising money, then for charities, cool. But to sit back and say you're not cool if you're not doing this on this particular day and going to these only locations, it feels a little elitist. And my answer is anybody that wants me there is the type of person I would never join. Who was that? Mel Brooks that said that? But yeah, no, it was what's his name with the cigar, the big mustache, Groucho Marx. I'd never join an organization that wanted me in it.
So you're a rebel. You're a rebel. You're an underdog.
Well, it's more I don't understand clicks. It's my Asperger's. I don't care if I don't fit in, and I don't understand clicks. I don't understand that you have to do this. It's not in my personality. But let's put this into a National Ghost Hunting Day that is celebrating of any paranormal investigator going out and just investigating any location of your choice. Do it. Because here is the quantum ramifications of it. If it's a whole bunch of stuff happening all at once, the activity may spike during that time at every location. You'll also start sharing each other's information and find out that you're getting the same results.
Yeah.
You're getting the same spirits jumping from one location to the other within fractions of a second. Okay. So I like that idea. I just don't like the idea of this elite cliquish that you have to go to certain locations. That bothers me.
Yeah. So I agree with you. And I love how you're looking at it from both points of views, from both, perspectives. And Paul says you pay some peeps a fee just to have to set up your own hunt, do all the work. So what is the fee for? The people who collect the fee don't help you.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is if it's going to charity, it's like if part of the money is going to help with restoration of the location and the rest of the money is going to a charity, nobody's making a dime off of it other than the location and a charity, then by all means do it. Get as many people there as you can. Stack the place. I don't care. You're doing good. But if you're doing it to make a buck off of people, that's fucked up.
You know what, Jarrett? You're just so wise and amazing. I just adore you. You always have a way of getting me personally to look at the other side of things, and thank you for that. So, Justin says, I'm not in with the National Ghost Hunt. Tomorrow night is our own investigation. And you know what, Justin? Lisa and I were actually trying to plan something to where we would be doing our own thing too. But stuff happened though.
Kathy and I are either going to go to the Van Meter Creature Festival, depending on if it's raining, or we're going to go to a psychic fair. Still paranormal, still affected in the day, still working with people. But it's whatever you want to do on this day. Celebrate. We'll celebrate who you are.
Exactly. And so Lisa and I were going to try and do something, but then, like everyone says, shit happens and it didn't work out. But we had our show tonight, and that was our contribution.
There you go.
Contribution to National Ghost Hunting Day. We had our Paranormal Roundtable, and I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And I just really want to thank Jarrett for being a part of it, and also Lisa. And Lisa, again, you're always welcome to go live with us, and maybe you will also now be like a host with us if you enjoyed yourself. But
all I request is you don't do it at Susie's house. I don't think I would be able to handle the two of you together in one place at one time. I've seen the pictures on Facebook.
I'm looking forward to it.
We have fun together.
Brian just knows because he had to deal with a few things. Caitlin and I were together on shows, and then Michelle LeBaron and I were together.
Michelle LeBaron and Susie. Oh, that was a hard show. Hard show.
Michelle and what, Lisa?
I was just saying I fell asleep like right in the middle of the show.
Oh, it was crazy. Like, you get Michelle and I together. I don't know what it is with our energy, but we're both very, like, kind of, I don't know. How would you say it, Brian? We're just goofy together, and we're both very absent-minded at times.
Yes. I would say it that way. I would say it that way.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it would be
yes, that's Michelle LeBaron and I. Like, we're just like so
y'all minions.
Y'all
minions.
But you get Lisa together, like Lisa and I. Like Lisa stabilizes me, like so. I'm grounded when Lisa's around me. But you get Michelle with me, and we're just crazy. Like, but it's all in good fun. And yeah, that was a great show with Michelle LeBaron. I'm so glad, and I just love her so much. So I hope you guys continue to watch her at the Culture City Paracon. But yeah, Brian definitely had his hands full.
And Paul said he got a Demon Be Gone spray.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to actually. Yeah, Michelle's like a sister to me. She's just absolutely amazing. It's hopefully we can get out that way and finally get everybody in one place, and this will be amazing.
Exactly what you mean. I'm down here in Corpus Christi, all by myself and everything, and the team is up in Reno, and the weather's getting a little cooler up there at night, and so I'm sitting there going, oh, I miss it.
We miss
being the fact that it's like almost October and it's still 90 in the mid 90s here.
Yeah, today it was 70, right, Lise? Like 70-ish. It was warm, but not.
A little bit hotter than that over here, but yeah, it was pretty warm, and it's supposed to possibly get snow this weekend.
Oh, nice. And what were my weather warnings? Beach flooding.
Hurricane weather.
No, I actually got warnings today that said driving on the beach will be virtually impossible, so don't go out to the beach because of flooding.
Yeah, so don't go to the beach, Brian. But yeah, I'm excited though because Halloween's coming.
Yeah, it's Halloween every day. This is just the time of year that I can get house decorations.
Oh. So excited. I'm so excited.
All right. Christmas lights up already, and that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Christmas lights. Well, they probably never took them down. They just turned them on. But
probably. Yeah. Probably.
Unreal.
Hey, well, maybe it's a nightmare before Christmas.
Yeah.
What was the question? When is it too soon?
Right.
Well, Jack answered that one. He invaded early.
Wow, 92 degrees in Tennessee. Wow.
Yeah, well.
Do you have a lot of humidity there?
Tennessee does. I know because I've been there. It's horrible. It's crazy humidity there.
Yeah, Iowa, you're in the middle of a lot of corn and trees. So yeah, that's a lot of moisture put off.
I love corn. All right, guys, we gotta go. I have to go. We have to go. But thank you so much for being part of the roundtable.
Thank you.
All right, love you guys.
Love you too, Jared. Yeah. Take it easy, and I'll get with Claudia to get with you about the tarot cards and her little experience.
Right on.
All right, everybody. Like I always say, love, light, and peace.
Bye, guys.